Ladies and mostly gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Covenant abilities, and more specifically the signature abilities for all 4 of the Covenants coming in Shadowlands. But before we get into all of that, I just want to thank the sponsor of this video, and that is my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to check me out streaming on Twitch, I'm there every single day. Right, so as I said, we're going to take a look at the signature abilities for the Covenants. Now, a signature ability is essentially an ability that all Covenants have that will be across all classes. Now, obviously, you get your class-specific Covenant ability, but you also get this signature ability, and as I said, everyone will get that who is a part of that Covenant. But also, while leveling, you'll get this ability in each zone, just to kind of try out and see if you like it, until you pick your Covenant when you reach max level. So these abilities were first previewed at BlizzCon, and some of them have actually changed quite a bit. Some of them actually got completely scrapped and replaced. So yeah, but through the power of the alpha and the power of Torghast, that gives us the ability to show them off, we get to show them. So this is the Covenant abilities as of alpha. Now stuff can change obviously, but let's just jump straight into it with the first one, which is the Kyrian ability, and that is Summon Steward. Now this is a instant ability with a 5-minute cooldown, and what it does is it calls your Steward to bring you a vial of serenity that can be consumed to restore 15% health and remove all curses, diseases, poisons, and bleed effects. And it also says that your Steward will offer you an additional selection of useful amenities each once per day. Okay, so let's kind of go through this. So the Vial of Serenity. So once you spawn your Steward, he comes running over with a little plate and throws you a potion. Now, as I said, this potion restores 15% of your health, removes all diseases, poisons, curses, and bleeds, and has a 1-minute cooldown with 3 charges. Now, you can only have one of these at a time, and every time you summon your Steward, he will give you a new one. If you already have one, I believe this will refresh the charges, and that can be obviously summoned every 5 minutes, so pretty darn good. Obviously, for something like a Dwarf or a Dark Iron Dwarf, removing the bits and pieces is not so good, but the 15% health is actually really great. And with a 1-minute cooldown, pretty darn efficient. Now, apart from looking absolutely awesome, this guy will run around with you. He won't attack or anything like that. Actually, there is some abilities in Torghast that will make him attack, but that's a whole nother video for another time. But as standard, he does have some useful amenities, as mentioned in the tooltip. And the first one is that he could sell items. Really helpful. You can spawn him every 5 minutes, and you'll be able to sell items. You can't repair, but you can sell items, which is super handy. You can also change your talents. This gives you a 1-minute window to change your talents out of combat. This can be done once per day, so pretty handy to have if you are in the middle of like a dungeon or something like that and you will swap your talents kind of on the fly. You can kind of just spawn him in and swap out, so pretty great. Another option is tell one of your friends how great they are. Now, clicking this changes the Summon Steward ability to give compliment, and that lets you select one of your party members. Now, once you select your party member, he'll run over, give him a little talk, and they will gain the buff Flattered, and this basically just says someone thinks you're great, and it lasts an entire day. And then the final option is just to despawn him if he's annoying you and following you around and you don't want him there anymore. So yeah, that is Summon Steward. That is the Kyrian signature ability. Not too bad. Pretty cool to have the Swolkin running around with you for a little bit every 5 minutes. I'm a big fan of it, and definitely very different to Unburden, which was the original Kyrian ability, which was like a movement speed effect. Next up, let's take a look at the Venthyr ability, and that is Door of Shadows. Now this is a really cool ability. I'm such a big fan of this. This honestly is making me want to go Venthyr just because of the way that it looks and what it does. So what it does is a 1.5 second cast with a 1-minute cooldown. Now what this does is it wends through the shadows, appearing at a targeted location within 35 yards of you. Now what's cool about this is there's not really, and I mean this is alpha, not really a ton of restrictions on this. I mean, I was in Revendreth and I selected a roof of a building and I was able to teleport up there. Obviously in Torghast you can use this to kind of skip mobs or skip areas, jump over gaps. It's very kind of Wild West at the moment, and I think there will be some restrictions on it eventually, but as of right now, Door of Shadows is super great, and as I said, the animation is so freaking cool. You've got this red kind of anima flying off, and then you just kind of zip over to that area. Big fan of this ability, 1.5 second cast, not too bad, with a 1-minute cooldown, so that's super short. And this will be available to all players at max level as well, so you can use it in Mythic Plus or Raiding or anything like that, so yeah, have some theory crafting on that one. But Door of Shadows, really cool ability for the Venthyr. Next up, let's talk about the Night Fae and their ability, Soul Shape. Now this is a really awesome ability, and I can see a lot of people using this, and it's going to be very interesting, but yeah, let's get into it. So it's an instant ability with a 1.5 minute cooldown, and what it does is it turns you into a Vulpin, increasing your speed by 30%, and it says you may reactivate Soul Shape to teleport 10 yards forward. This lasts 12 seconds or indefinitely while in a rest area. So with the teleporting 10 yards, what happens once you activate Soul Shape turns into Flicker. Now you can use Flicker every 4 seconds, and what that does, it kind of jumps you forward 10 yards until you reach an obstacle. And 10 yards isn't that much. It kind of seems a bit weird. Maybe they need to make it a little bit longer, but you can obviously do that a couple times while Soul Shape is active, and I guess it's a nice little added touch that you can use off cooldown when you need to. But the funny part about this is kind of the indefinite while in a rested area. So you turn into, the standard one is a Vulpin, and that is obviously like the Vulpine Familiar, the Stormount, but yeah, this is what it looks like, the basic standard Soul Shape. And indefinite in a rest area, so say you're in Ouroboros, you're just going to have a ton of people running around as Vulpine Familiars in Ouroboros or in any rested area, because it doesn't run out when you're in a rested area. That's going to be really interesting to see. And I say about the Vulpin being the standard one, and that is because there are a absolute ton of different forms that we're not too sure how you unlock them. I assume you just unlock them through various different game modes or methods or whatever, but let me just run through this list super quick. So these are the data mined ones. So it's Bear, Cobra, Crane, Dragon Turtle, Feathered Drake, which is the Severian Dreamer Stormount, Hippogriff, Hyena, Griffin, Lion, Moose, Moth, Night Saber, Owl, Cat, Raptor, Runestag, Stag, Terraclaw, which is the kind of phoenixy Mr. Pandaria things, Tiger, Unicorn, Vulpin, Wolf, Wolfhawk, which is the Hunter class mount, really cool, and Wyvern. That is a ton, and that's all that's data mined so far. Of course there's going to be more going throughout the expansion. That's awesome. There's so much customization there. As I said, we don't know how to get these different forms, but the fact that they're in there and the fact that they're able to be obtained sounds super fun for the Night Fae. So yeah, Soul Shape sounds pretty cool. 30% movement speed, indefinite in rested areas, not too bad at all, with a ton of customization. I think that sounds awesome. And finally, let's talk about the Necrolords and their ability, Fleshcraft. Now this was originally called Transcend the Flesh, but they changed it to Fleshcraft. Sounds pretty cool. So this is a channeled 4-second cast, 2-minute cooldown ability that forms a shield of flesh and bone over 4 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 20% of your maximum health for an entire 2 minutes. Awesome. It looks amazing. I really love the animation. Now the added bit on this is it says channeling near a corpse claims their essence to grow the shield up to 50% of your maximum health. This is most effective against powerful enemies. So yeah, so the TLDR of that is essentially, as standard, you get a 20% shield for 2 minutes until obviously it bursts. Or if you have a ton of dead NPCs around you, this works in, I tried this out in Torghast as like random little skeletons and whatnot. Did work really nicely and the animation's cool. It kind of sucks the essence out of them. It's pretty nuts. And that is up to a maximum of 50% of your health as an extra shield. And that, of course, lasts 2 minutes as well. So really cool, very thematic with the Necrolords. It's an awesome looking green shield, and like if you just want to run around with an awesome green shield, because it lasts 2 minutes and it's a 2-minute cooldown, you can essentially just run around like, let's say, Ouroboros, the main city, with this shield on all the time, and it's a great look for sure. And having a method of making the shield even better by having corpses around you is really awesome, and I'm really curious to see how players will use this in, you know, dungeons and raids and whatnot, and whether or not they will use it. I mean, it definitely sounds like a very efficient spell to have in comparison to some of the other ones. And that's pretty much it, guys. That is the 4 Covenant signature abilities. Do let me know which one is your favorite. Let me know which Covenant you're thinking of going. I'm really looking at that Venthyr one right now. Door of Shadows sounds really cool. I really hope they don't nerf it or change it, because right now it's in an awesome state of kind of like, it kind of seems too broken, but I really hope they kind of keep it that way and you can just teleport around and stuff, because that's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to use it somewhere like outside of Torghast, like around some of the other zones. So before I go, guys, I'd like to give a massive shout out to my amazing patrons, YouTube channel members, and Twitch subs. You guys are awesome, and if you'd like to support the channel in any of those ways, links are down below. So leave a like on this video, guys, if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't. We've also got a partner Discord channel with over 3,000 members, and as I said, I am now streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to check me out streaming on Twitch, we were testing out these abilities on stream, so that was super fun. If you want to check me out doing all sorts of stuff over on the Shadowlands Alpha, I'll be live on twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.